Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the whole flock of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, the Most High, the Heavenly Father. His Hebrew name is Yahweh, not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah, not Abba, not Yahuwah, not Hashem, not Yahweh, Haveh, Vaveh. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua, not Yahusha, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos. It's Yahweh Shah. So we got to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rekah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elder, bishop, and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether accepted or not. And a sincere salutation to all the Akim, believing this truth and pushing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, shedding light to the whole elect. Shalom to the Akwath who are listening learning, Yifu sisters who are listening learning. I'm Isaiah from Jeremiah, Solano, Camp Prophet of Doom, coming at you with another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification. Another day of edification, Lord willing, this be edifying. And I'm title of this lesson, Message to the Oppressing City. Message to the oppressing city. Lord, wouldn't this be edifying?
Seeing the clip from Jeff Daniels in the newsroom about tell me what's great about America. Fundamentally, that is why we're here as a country. When I hear Make America Great Again, when? Let's review America. Let's look at its greatness, shall we? We started off by genociding the Native Americans by the millions, whose land was rightfully theirs. We just took it from them, and we didn't value their lives. Then we started this country, then we took black people from Africa because we didn't value their lives. Then we forced them to pick our cotton and raise our kids and build our White House and do all the work that white people were too lazy to do. Wow, starting off really great, isn't it? And then we come up with the Constitution in 1787. And we're still waiting for this greatness, right? So the founding fathers that were racist slave owners that owned black people like cattle, great start, right? They designed the country to benefit 21-year-old land-owning white men, and black people were only worth 60% of a white man. And then women didn't have the right to vote, have credit, no-fault divorce. They were also treated as less than the white man. And we said, yay, we're great, we're America, now we're free, except for everybody except the white man. And black Americans couldn't drink from the same water fountains, sit on a bus, go to church, and on and on and on. Slavery, Jim Crow, Black Wall Street, and all the time, my demographic, we're great, we're great, we're great. Then you fast forward to 2024. And we finally have the opportunity to do something. To show that we're going to progress as a society. Not just the most qualified black woman, but the most qualified candidate in the history of our country. And this country did what it always does. It fell back on the most uneducated, morally bankrupt.
And what this gentleman is making points on is the inception of America, Babylon the Great. Now the definition for inception: establishment, institution, foundation, founding, formation, initiation, origination, constitution, inauguration, opening, beginning, start, birth, origin, rise. See? Birth, which is spiritual, beginning, start, initiation, the foundation, the establishment of America, Babylon the Great. And they tell you that in Colossians 2:8, as it reads, be well as any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of the world, after the rudiments of men, and not after Hamashiach Yahushua. When you go to that word rudiments, let me go to it, says something here. It was the beginnings, the foundation of the self-proclaimed white man. Let's get this word rudiment. Here's a definition for rudiment. Let's play it. Rudiment. It reads fundamentals, elements, essentials, first principles, beginnings, foundations. And this is the self-proclaimed white man's system. You have to learn his ways. When we go back to, let's go back to inception. Back to inception definition. I never play it. Let me play it.
Inception.
Establishment, institution, foundation, initiation. See? Opening, beginning, start, birth. And as it tell you, when you go to Psalms 58:3, it reads, they come out of the womb. Let me read it here. Let's read it from this phone instead of going to it. I'll read it from here. When you look up that word astray in Psalms 58:3, it tell you he destroyed the mind of the people, starting with you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Psalms 58:3, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So this word astray, he destroyed everybody mindset of what life is, or how life's supposed to be, through their philosophies, through their beginnings, as one of the words for inception and one of the words for rudiments in Colossians 2:8, their beginnings, their foundation, their fundamentals, their essentials, their first principles. Because the self-proclaimed white man said that civilization started with the Greeks. But we're going to go to this word astray. Let's finish playing this video.
Foolish, childish, immature plantation owner that wears diapers and orange makeup. Because that's what America wants. We have 11.1% of our population that live in poverty. 14 million children go to school hungry every day. We have over 40,000 people that sadly lose their lives to pew-pew violence because we do nothing about it, because we're such a great country. Our largest employer, Walmart, has 15,000 people that are on public assistance that you and I pay for. We have the most incarcerated prison systems in the entire world. Now, if you're a black man and you're running down the street like Ahmaud Arbery, you got a bunch of white U.S. citizens that think you're stealing something because you're black, and they unalive him. If you're a convicted felon and you abuse women and you try to overturn a free and fair election through an insurrection, you get to be president. If you take a knee and stand for what's right, you're called a son of a bitch and you lose your job. But if you're white and you storm the Capitol and you attack police officers on video and you admit to it in a court of law and you're found guilty by a jury of your peers, you get pardoned because we're such a great country. There's a lot of countries that have freedom. Australia, Belgium, Iceland, Canada, Japan, lots of countries have freedom. We're $36 trillion in debt because we can't even balance a budget because we're so wasteful as Americans. The story with Adriana Smith really summarizes how broken this country truly is and how little it actually values a life that doesn't look like me. She's a 30-year-old black mother, and she has a little son. When she was 9 weeks pregnant, she got a clot in her brain. And sadly, her brain is no longer functioning. It's awful. I don't know all the details, but she's no longer viable as a functioning person. So the state of Georgia, because they're so pro-life, because of their heartbeat bill, they've turned her into a human incubator, which is morally reprehensible. It's repulsive. It's gross. So for the last 60 days, they've kept her alive to save that infant. And her young son comes by and visits, and he thinks that his mom is sleeping. That is gut-wrenchingly heartbreaking. Because they want to push their agenda to populate more children in this country. But what happens after that is really what America is. They don't care if that family goes into medical debt, files bankruptcy, loses their house from being forced to leave her daughter on a ventilator. Who knows how long? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more months? Let's just presume the baby makes it somehow without any defects. America doesn't care if that kid has food, if it has a house. It doesn't care if it has health care. It doesn't care if it's unalived in a school due to pew-pew violence. And it sure in the hell doesn't care if it has clean water and clean air. So my question for you, MAGA, what exactly is great about this country? I'll tell you what you think is great. Your whiteness. Your version of white America. Having 800 million American flags? No, that's not great. Having a pet bald eagle? That's not great. Worshipping a flag, praying to it, singing to it? No. See, what you don't realize because you're too ignorant is that that flag to a lot of people, to Asian Americans, to black Americans, to women, to minorities, it's been a symbol of oppression since the inception of this country. That's what you fail to realize because you're too ignorant. That's why we're here. Because you don't care that other people view that flag differently than you. You're insulted when I say America has never been great for everybody. We have to come to terms with that. And if it makes people angry, that's too goddamn bad. I can both appreciate people that served this country and fought for our freedoms and safety. But I can also say in the same breath, it has never been great for everybody. Kicking out trans people who have served in our military for 15 or 18 years while you voted for a little coward-ass bitch that had bone spurs that wears makeup and diapers, there's nothing patriotic about it. Those trans people served this country bravely. And you are cowards for kicking them out. They protected your freedom and my freedom. And that is one more example of why this country isn't great. Because you want to make America white again. You want one thing and one thing alone. Straight white Christian America. But if you commit felonies, if you steal from cancer charities, if you cheat on your wives with a porn star, if you steal top secret documents, if you have dinner with white nationalists, if you insult people, if you make fun of people, if you talk about Hannibal Lecter and electric sharks, as long as you're a white man in your America, that's okay because you want to make America white again.
So, Hey, these Edomites, which is known in the Bible, the self-proclaimed white man is Edomites according to the Bible. Hey, their kingdom falling. So they're making their own tongue fall upon themselves. But the Lord said he wounded them, man. They've been wounding us since the inception of these Edomites coming out the caves, which I'm going to read these precepts, Lord willing. But first, before I do that, because I showed this at the beginning, but I didn't read it. This is copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So, I want to get here. Let's go to this blue letter and go to this Psalms. See, these devils' kingdom is falling. The Lord have wounded them, man. And they watching their kingdom fall, so they can't do nothing but mention how it's falling as they watching it fall. So again, it reads here, Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. When you go to this word astray, because this is what they done to so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Mentally destroyed. Oh, and he mentioned Gad and the so-called Negroes, right? Thought about that too. When you go here, when you go here to this guy, Teddy, right? Theodore Roosevelt, right? This statue here, because he mentioned, and I want to bring this out too in the other video I did on the chick and the dude that was snapping on the small hat lady. They're talking about Americans got to sacrifice themselves for Israel. Because he mentioned Teddy Roosevelt, and I meant to throw this image in the still. Cause see here, so this guy who was complaining that his kingdom is falling, he mentioned what they did to Gad, which it was Gad, Reuben, and Issachar here in America. A so-called Native Americans, so-called Seminole Indians, and the so-called Mexicans was here in America, and they split America up. Those three tribes. So he mentioned Gad, and he mentioned the so-called blacks, right? And see, they don't know the whole story, man. Because it's a family line of people. So-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. The 12 tribes of Israel. So he mentioned Gad and the so-called Negroes. And this is beautiful because the Lord had them to do this so we can do lessons like this, man. So you see right here, if we had our backs towards this picture, it'd be Gad on the right hand, and you see the so-called Negro on the left. But from this way, you see, but it's still the same. You got the so-called Negro on the left of the horse, and Gad on the right hand. See it? This is the so-called white man saying he conquered all 12 tribes. This is their image, man, as the apostles taught us. So-called Native American Indian and the so-called Negro. Representing conquering all 12 of the tribes of Israel, man. So for him to mention that, I just thought about wanting to show that. Now, back in Psalms 58:3, the word astray. To err, wonder, go astray, stagger, to err, to wonder about physically, right? Of intoxication, of sin, ethically. They took away our morals, our integrity, our standard. It's a wandering of the mind. To be made to wonder about, to be made to stagger. And that's the Isaiah 29:9. Stay yourselves and wonder, cry out and cry. It said they stagger, but not with strong drink, right? We're going to read it. To err, to be made to wonder about, to be made to stagger, drunkard. To be led astray, ethically, to cause to wonder about physically, to cause the wonder of intoxication, to cause to err, mislead mentally and morally. So now Jake just a beast out here. And what Esau said in Psalm 73, I was as a beast before thee. But when the Lord reactivated you and gave you the truth, you're not a beast anymore. Here's the strong definitions for the word astray. And he came out of the cage doing this, man. And the Lord gave him the power to do it. That's the understanding of the Lord. People don't know the Lord set them up to do this purposely to destroy his house. I was talking with the precepts, Lord willing. They causing shame to their own house, which is to their own people. And this is why everybody's complaining. It's a strong definition. To vacillate. Let's get this word vacillate real quick. Let's look up vacillate. Vacillate, alternate or waver between different opinions or actions. Indecisive. See, this devil, man, it's i.e., reel astray, cause you to go off, cause to go astray, deceive, dissemble, cause to make, to err, pant, seduce. And this is what the so-called white man did to Eve in the garden, man. Make to stagger, cause to wonder, be out the way, right? Paul said, let's go here. I got a lot of precepts I want to read in this lesson, man. Lord willing. 2 Corinthians 2. Verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Then I wanted this one. Let me read it from the regular so that it'll show different. Paul said, 2 Corinthians 11, right here. 2 Corinthians 11 and 3, it reads, but I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your minds should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Mashiach Yahushua. So it said he made you to err mentally and morally. So this is the standard of the so-called white man. It's his ways. He made you to err. It says so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Mashiach Yahushua. When you go here, 2 Corinthians 4 and 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Mashiach, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. So he made us go off mentally and morally. But now let's get these precepts, man. So he mentioned a lot of things in that video. He hit a lot of great points. And I want to start here because this is the inception of Babylon the Great, aka America. Numbers 35 and 33. And it reads, so you shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Right? So the end goal is the Lord is going to destroy them, man, for what they did. All the blood shed in America from so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Starting with Gad, so-called Native Americans, so-called Seminole Indians, and so-called Mexicans here in America. Even though they was doing it amongst themselves. But what the so-called white man did, man, the inception of his reign of terror, man. Habakkuk 2 and 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establisheth a city by iniquity. And this is that letter. This is that letter to Babylon the Great. This is the message. Zephaniah 3 and 1. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted. And that's America to the T. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. The oppressing city. This is America. It was America. It was the self-proclaimed white man in America that conquered all 12 tribes of Israel. So therefore, the scriptures read, Jeremiah 50 and 33, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel, the northern kingdom, and the children of Judah, the southern kingdom, were oppressed together. And all that took them captives, held them fast, they refused to let them go. And he made some beautiful points. And I was listening to this, because it was sent to me by one of my future ribs. So I'm listening to this, and I'm trying to pick out, man. And he mentioned how it was a so-called white man that made our women go off, man. It was a so-called white woman that came out with trousers for women. And see, it's cold because it tell you in the scriptures. Let's get this. This is the inception of these Babylonians, man. Isaiah 24:1. Behold, Yahweh maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be, as with the people, so with the priests. Who controls religion now? The so-called white man. And it's called plantation Christianity. And this is why 2/3 of our people still heads over heels for Jesus Christ right now, man. And it shall come to pass, as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master. This is what the Lord did to us. As with the maid, so with her mistress. And this is why our women love to get blonde hair and look like the so-called white woman. But the scripture tell you that the so-called white woman envy you so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, West Indian, Haitian women. They really envy you. But this is the Lord turning things upside down, and he made us cleave to the master, which is our servants. The scripture tell you that the so-called white man is a servant. He was never made to rule. But the Lord put the worst of the heathen over us to punish us and teach us a lesson for sinning against the Lord. And it shall be, as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller. And the Lord, the one that cursed, the Lord said, we're gonna be the ones getting lent to. We ain't gonna do the lending. But in the kingdom, we're gonna be the ones doing the lending. As with the buyer, so with the seller. As with the lender, so with the borrower. As with the taker of usury, which is the so-called white man, his banks, so with the giver of usury. See? So the Lord turned it upside down, but now things being turned right side up. And hey, the Lord is showing these devils their time is up. Now he made a points he made. I just got the precepts. You got Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto him that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, which is them passing these different penal codes and statutes and a constitution and a declaration of independence. And one of the words for inception, it said constitution. Let me go back to it and show you. Let's go back to it. Look at this. Inception. Establishment, institution, foundation, founding, formation, initiation, organization. Origination, constitution. See? That's them devils. Then, they constitution, they declaration of independence, they draconian measures. Man, I'm listening to Bun B got a song, and he was making the point about how these devils been lying, and it's all about Big Pharma, and they don't care nothing about the people. He said they don't care about your disease. They just trying to help your symptom, man. He said this in a song. This is Psalms. Hey, everybody know, man. Psalms 94:20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee? And the answer is no. Because Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow in 2 Aaron 6:9. See, we were trying to tell this guy last night, these two brothers, Esau and Jacob, as it says in Psalms 9, out of one lump he made two vessels. The lump is Isaac's sperm. He said he made one vessel to honor and one to dishonor. The so-called white man is the dishonor seed, and Jacob is the honored seed. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee? No, because they the wicked, which frameth mischief by law. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. Because he mentioned Ahmaud Arbery was just jogging. See how it's in the scriptures? He mentioned how Ahmaud Arbery just jogging, then they unalived him. They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. And that's what they did to that boy, to that young brother. Well, I ain't gonna call him a brother. Hey, If you don't know Yahweh about Hashem Yahushua at this point right now in your life, you're going to die, man. And it's possible the Lord can reactivate you at any time because the Lord control the switches, the real switches. Either the Lord going to turn your switch on or you're going to be one of them out here with parasites bugged out, or you're going to be one of the righteous men and women of the Lord. But yeah, man, they gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. And he mentioned that. And I found the precepts that what he was mentioning, I said, I got to get these, man. This is James. Hey, these devils' kingdom is falling, man. And everybody's crying. James 5:1, it reads, Go to now, you rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. And your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. This is how much they have heaped up. And shall eat your flesh as with fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. Because he made this point. This is verse 4. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. And the Lord hear everything, man. That's why I tell you in Ezekiel 9 about those that's crying to the Lord, man, but all the wickedness done in the earth. Also, that's in 2nd Ezra 15. Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton. You have nourished your hearts as in the days of slaughter. You have condemned and killed the just, which is so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, and he doeth not resist you. So let's go back to this here, Nahum. Matter of fact, let me go back to Zephaniah first. Zephaniah 3:1. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted. And the Lord said in Micah 2:10 that this is not our rest because it's polluted. But the Lord said it in Amos 7:17 that we was going to die in a polluted land. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, the oppressing city. Now this is Nahum 3:1. Talking about Nineveh. But America is Nineveh now. Woe to the bloody city. And how was America established? By the blood, sweat, and tears of so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. How was America built? Off the blood, sweat, and tears, off the backs of so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. And this Edomite mentioned that. And he could be a Jake. He just could be a lack of melanin Jake. Woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. It's verse 4. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot. America is known as the harlot. Revelation 17. America is the harlot that sits on a scarlet-colored beast. The beast is EU and NATO. It's a system. It's a self-proclaimed white man system ran by the elites. The Oppenheimers, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. The DuPonts. These devils got all Teflon, all non-stick skillets, and they got the chefs cooking with them to deceive you so you can buy that shit and cook your food and it's killing you while you eating. Yeah, non-stick skillets. See how easy it is to wash? Nothing sticks to it, and it's killing you. They doing it on purpose. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot. America is the well-favored harlot. You can come here in the harlot, a whore. You can do anything here in America, man. You can worship any idol. You can follow any religion. Long as you're doing it in the guidelines of the so-called white man. Long as you're doing it in the guidelines of the government, you can do it. The mystery of witchcrafts. That's what the TV is for. That's what the music is for. Witchcraft. That's what the drug is for. Witchcraft. Hallucinating. Wait till ain't no more drugs here in America. Wait till ain't no more booze, drugs. Wait till them demons that's fueling you people out there. Wait till you will not be sedated. It's going to be real time. It's going to be parasites on top of parasites out here. Parasites clashing at each other. Because right now the parasites is sedated with processed sugar, Percocets, chemical marijuana, and alcohol, and lean. because of the multitude of the well-favored harlot. So like because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mystery of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcrafts. Behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face. And now these Edomites is exposed, man. But the Lord said he shot at them he shot at them secretly and wounded them. And I will show the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame. And everybody's seeing how filthy America is. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee and make thee vile. Even Job said they were vile in the earth, the self-proclaimed white man, and will set thee as a gazing stock. Look at this. This is verse 10. Yet was she carried away. She went into captivity. Her young children also were dashed in pieces at the top of all the streets. Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, was destroyed here in America. Look, it say her young children also were dashed in pieces at the top of all the streets. This was coming to the self-proclaimed white people. It's coming to you because you did it to us. And they cast lots for her honorable men. And all her great men were bound in chains. This is coming to the so-called white man. Because he did us the same way. Thou also shalt be drunken. See? It said to tell you that in Habakkuk 2. Thou shalt be hid. Thou also shalt seek strength because of the enemy. All thy strongholds, look at this. All thy strongholds shall be like fig trees with the first ripe figs, meaning they fall on the ground because they ripe. I'm from the country. I'm from the silk. My grandma had plum trees all over the yard. And man, you always want to be out there when they fall off. They be so sweet. The Lord saying this is going to come to America. Nahum 3:12. All thy strongholds shall be like fig trees with the first ripe figs. If they be shaken, they shall even fall into the mouth of the eater. Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. Everybody here is emotional, man. And the so-called white man threw his estrogen in the food. He done made the women masculine and the men emotionally effeminate. Feeble, frail, beta simp, emotional men with skinny jeans and Crocs on. And women wearing sneakers and like they ready to go to war. But men got skinny jeans and Crocs on out here. Behold, our people in the midst of thee are women. Cause that's the energy of America now, man. Everybody's like a woman, man. The gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thy enemies. The missiles coming. The fire shall devour thy bars. This talking about America, man. This talking about America, man. It's verse 15. There shall the fire devour thee. The sword shall cut thee off, because it's going to be sedition out here, them guns. It shall eat thee up like the cankerworm. Make thyself many as the cankerworm. Make thyself many as the locust. Locust and cankerworm eat up everything. Thou has, look at this. Show you talking about America. Thou hast multiplied thy merchants above the stars of heaven. The cankerworm spoileth and flieth away. Thou hast multiplied thy merchants. That's America. See? The Lord say, verse 17, thy crown are as the locusts, and thy captains as the great grasshoppers, which camp in the hedges in the cold day. But when the sun arises, they flee away, and their place is not known where they are. This is coming to America, man. Thy shepherds slumber, O king of Assyria. Thy nobles shall dwell in the dust. Thy people is scattered upon the mountains, and no man gathereth them. Hey, it's over, man. America gonna be destroyed, man. Because the only one's gonna be left is the elites. There is no healing of thy bruise. This is what the Lord told us in Jeremiah 30. See, everything is coming back to the so-called white man now. Everything is doubling back around. 2 Ezra 5:42, the Lord say, like of his judgment unto a ring. And they tell you in Jeremiah 4:9 and 12, hey, my people had to drink of this cup. You got to drink too. Nahum 3:19, there is no healing of thy bruise. That's Jeremiah 51, right? They have no healing ointments. There is no healing of thy bruise. Thy wound is grievous. All that hear the bruit of thee shall clap the hand over thee, for upon whom have not thy wickedness passed continually. What is this talking about? The so-called white man has spread his democracy, his policies, his legislations, his draconian measures throughout the four corners of the earth. Sure, this talking about America, man. Nahum 3:19, there is no healing of thy bruise. Thy wound is grievous. All that hear the bruit of thee shall clap their hands over thee. For upon whom have not thy wickedness passed continually? And they wickedness of America has went everywhere, pushing alphabet community on the other nations, man. Yeah, this is Proverbs 10. Is 11. Proverbs 11:29. He that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind, and the fool shall be servant to the wise of heart. And the wise of heart is the elect of Israel, and the fool is the so-called white man. This is Proverbs 16. And 29. A violent man enticeth his neighbor, and leadeth him into a way that is not good. And that's what they did to us, man. They enticed us and led us into a way that is not good. Proverbs 15:27. He that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house, but he that hateth gifts shall live. And that's the remnant that hateth gifts, man. Only one they're going to take the bribe is the sellout Israelites who you deceived. All our sellout Israelites who you deceived. This is, he also mentioned, I was making the point too how he changed Jake. Let me get it here real quick. He changed Jake to killers, man. Hey, the original gangsters is the so-called white man. They came up with that, man. They started that. And it passed on to our people, man. Jeremiah 5. But it's all part of the curses, though. That's what people don't understand. It's a part of the curses. Jeremiah 5:24. Jeremiah 5:26. For among my people I found wicked men. They lay wait as he that setteth snares. They set a trap, they catch men. It say they lay wait as he that setteth snares. They set a trap, they catch men. Who taught you how to do this? Who taught so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indian Haitians how to set trap and catch men? The so-called white man did, man. He's the original gangster. They show you that with the movie Gangs in New York, man. The original gangster was the so-called white man. The original gangsters and thugs. They started that, man. He also mentioned the debt, right? Habakkuk 2:6. Should not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him? And this is what the nations is doing to America. Should not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? That's why I read James 5. It said, yeah, heap treasure together for the last days, right? And the higher the labors, have you done kept back by fraud, man? Should not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? Tell you in Job 20:18, he buildeth he oppressed a house that he buildeth not. Let me read it. Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long unto him that laden himself with thick clay? When you go to this word thick clay here, it say debt. Let's go to it. Let's go to it. It's early like Sunday morning. I ain't doing that. Habakkuk 2. I just don't want to forget this Micah. I want to go to this Micah 2. But the Lord said he devised an iniquity against his family, which is the Edomite family, man. Because it's the so-called white man that did all this. We were trying to tell the dude last night, why are we eating GMO foods and chemtrails in the air? Why are we bathing in contaminated water and drinking contaminated water? How guns get in the neighborhoods? You got our people that got guns. These little YN got AKs, SKs, AR-15, 223s. Niggas got all type of ammunition and firearms, but they don't got no job. How niggas got a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 gun, but they don't got no car? Come on, man. Here's the word, Thick Clay. H5671. It's a Thick Clay, something pledged, right? Weight, it said weight of pledges, heavy debts. That's America. And America's debt is over $300 trillion, man. To take a pledge, give a pledge for a debt. See? To interchange, borrow, break, lend. See? Entangle. About it. Thick debt.
Strong's H5670. Avat. Avat.
Go back to this. Let's do this again. Damn devils, man.
Strong's H5671. Avteet. Avteet.
See, debts, man. Heavy debts, man. So, I want to get this too. And Micah, before I forget. The Lord got a controversy with the inhabitants of the land to tell you Hosea 4:1. This is Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and were evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. They're talking about the elites. And they covet fields and take them by violence. This is how he do. He got over 800 military bases around the world, garrisons. And he go in and take what he want, resources, minerals, man. And they covet fields and take them by violence. Then he set up a debt system with these countries that know they can't pay back. Then they send in the economic hitmen. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And this is what the so-called white man did. When he conquered the original Greeks and original Romans, they said that they was those people. But those were the sons of Japhet, man. Noah's youngest son Japhet, or Noah's second oldest son Japhet. They went in and took over the Greeks and the Romans and called themselves Romans and Greeks. But you are Edomites, Amalek, Macedonians. But they took that land over. They took over Australia and Hawaii and Ireland and England and Scotland and Wales and Scotland mean black land. And when you go into Ireland, these places is dark lands, man. Esau came out the caves, as I tell you in Revelations 20. We read Psalms 58:3. He went astray as soon as he be born, speaking lies. So when they came back in the earth as rebirth, when they came out the caves in the 1300s, that was their rebirth back into the earth. It reads, so they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Therefore thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family, who? Ain't no S, it say this family, which is the Edomites, do I devise an evil. And to tell you in Proverbs 16, the Lord say he preserved the wicked for the day of evil. Against this family, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which you shall not remove your necks, neither shall you go haughtily, for this time is evil. In that day shall one take up a parable against you and lament with a doleful lamentation, and say, we be utterly spoiled. He have changed the portion of my people. How have he removed it far from me? Turned away. He have divided our fields. Therefore thou shalt have none that shall cast a cord by lot in the congregation of the Lord. Because they got to be destroyed. The so-called white man is outside the temple. He's profane. He can't come near the Lord. Tell you in Hebrews 12 that they can't repent. And anyway, Esau rejected the birthright. The so-called white man sold his birthright to our forefather Jacob for some lentils and raw meat. And this is why they like their steaks tartar. They sold their birthright for raw meat and lentil beans, man. Damn, let the soup cook, man. You can tell me he was faint. Go read Genesis 25 about Esau. When he could have just waited, drunk some yayan, got some strong drink, and waited till Jacob finished the meal, man. But he said, no, feed me with that same red pottage. That's why they love their steaks. That's why they love their meat raw. But this them, man. Let's go back to the Habakkuk 2. Habakkuk 2 and 9. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house. See, this is what the Lord said. He divides against his family. He divides an evil. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house. They may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. That's what they think. But the Lord said he got the wicked reserved for the day of evil. In Proverbs 16, that has consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people and has sinned against thy soul. And they doing this to everybody. Verse 15, woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. And what are they drunk with? We're going to read it. The philosophies. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned upon thee, and shame for spewing shall be on thy glory. As the Lord said in Habakkuk. I want to get, because he put the bottle to all the nations. Starting with the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, he put his philosophy to everybody, man. Isaiah 29 and 9. Stay yourselves in wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. So what are they drunk with? If it ain't wine, if it ain't strong, if it ain't liquor or wine, what are they drunk with? Let me show you. Colossians 2 and 8, it reads, beware lest any man spoil you through what? Philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Mashiach Yahushua. So after the ways of the so-called white man, his first principles, his essentials, his fundamentals, his foundations. They said civilization started with the Greeks. Yeah. And then he mentioned how they gave women liberty to gather abroad. And they did. Let's get this. And the Lord said, keep a sure watch over your daughters. And we couldn't. Our forefathers here in America couldn't, because they removed the men at the house. They removed the men at the house. So they couldn't watch over their daughters. They tell you in Mark 3 and 27, he got to first bind the strong man before he enter into the house. So they came up with ways to destroy the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, West Indian, Haitian man, where the woman can raise the kids. Let me get this real quick. Mark. And now you watching this devil, they kingdom is falling. The inception of America, Babylon the Great is turning to deception. It's Mark 3 and 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. Oh, it was the Job 20 I wanted to get. So now, he got to suffer, because now he didn't destroy his house by destroying other houses. Because it said, woe to him, because now you bringing this drama to your house. Job 20 and 18. That which he labor for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be. And that's in the law in Exodus 22. And he shall not rejoice therein. Why, Lord? Because he have oppressed and have forsaken the poor. Because he have violently taken away an house which he buildeth not. It said he violently took it, right? What did it tell you in Matthew 11:12? Man, I could do this all day. Matthew 11:12, it reads, and from the days of John the Baptist unto now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent took it by force. The kingdom of heaven at this time was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And the Romans came in 70 AD and took Jerusalem by violence. And it was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi at the time. The kingdom of heaven are the Hebrew Israelites. It say the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. What it said in Job 20? Because he have violently. Let's go back to it. We got you figured out, E. Through the spirit of Yahweh, Bashim Avashai, we everybody pointing fingers at the so-called white man now. Job 20 and 19, because he have oppressed and have forsaken the poor, because he have violently taken away in the house which he buildeth not. He used the sword, man. He used that sword, man. So this is Ecclesiasticus. The Lord said, keep a sure watch over your daughters, man. But they removed the men. This is, you got this one here. Ecclesiasticus 25 and 25. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. When you give women liberty to gad abroad, it becomes trouble, man. When you go to look at this. It say, this is Ecclesiastes 26 and 10. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. And this is what the so-called white man did, man. He gave women liberty to gad abroad, man. And do you know? Let's go here. What is that? Ecclesiasticus 42. A woman do not supposed to be on their own. I'm talking about not even for 30 seconds, man. They do not supposed to think on their own, man. A woman, the Lord designed a woman to go straight from her father's house to her husband's house. Ain't no in-between stops. You can't go to the market by yourself. None of that. Look at the results of our women living lives without going from the father's house straight to the husband's house. This is Ecclesiastes 42 and 9. The father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth, and the care for her taketh away sleep when she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age, which is her period, and being married, lest she should be hated. In her virginity, lest she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house, and having an husband, lest she should misbehave herself, and when she is married, lest she should be barren. Keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter, lest she make thee a laughing stock to thy enemies, and a byword in the city, and a reproach among the people, and make thee ashamed before the multitudes. See? Your wife, your daughter, supposed to went straight from the father's house, straight to the husband's house. Nowhere else, man. And see, Esau destroyed but it's okay. He destroyed our people, man. But now, the Lord is destroying their people. Let me close with this. 2 precepts here. 3, actually. So here is Psalms 64 and 7. But God shall shoot at them with an arrow. When you read these precepts, read Psalm 64, 1 through 6, and find out what the so-called white man did to you so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. And because of that, 1 through 6, verse 7, does the Lord say, but God shall shoot at them with the arrow. See how it's worded? But God shall shoot at them with the arrow. Because they've been shooting at us with arrows, which is their wickedness, since their inception. But God shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue fall upon themselves. And that's what you see in this video. All that see them shall flee away. And then you got the one in Job 15 and 5. For thy mouth uttereth thine iniquity. And this is what this guy was doing. And thou choose the tongue of the crafty. Thy own mouth condemneth thee, and not I, yea, thy own lips testify against thee. Lord was edifying. We give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rikah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elder bishop and elders of great millstone, who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether accepted or not. And a sincere salutation to all the Akim believing this truth and pushing this truth with the four winds of the earth, the entire world shedding light to the whole elect. Shalom to the Akwath who are listening learning. If your sister will listen, learn throughout tuning in. May Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah continue to bless you in your houses. May the blessing of election be upon your houses. Till next time I say Shalom, Wa Abba.